Hi and welcome to the Math Walkthrough, Cambridge IGCSE 2019 Paper 4 58042. Question 2a. AC is parallel to FBD, ABC is an isosceles triangle, and CBE is a straight line. Find the value of x. Angle FBE is equal to angle ACB, with ABC being an isosceles triangle. Angle ACB is 180 degrees minus 26 degrees divided by 2, with x being a sublemment angle to angle FBE, x is equal to 103 degrees. Question 2b. The diagram shows a circle with diameter PQ. SPT is a tangent to the circle at P. Find the value of y. With SPT being tangent with QP, the angle QPB is 90 degrees minus 58 degrees. Using circle theorem, angle ABQ is the same as angle APQ, which is 17 degrees. Also, on circle theorem, angle ABP is 90 degrees minus 17 degrees. With that, y is equal to 180 degrees minus 73 degrees minus 32 degrees, which gives us 75 degrees. Question 3. The probability that Andrea cycles to school is R. Write down in terms of R the probability that Andrea does not cycle to school. This probability is 1 minus R. Next, the probability that Benoit does not cycle to school is 1.3 minus R. The probability that both Andrea and Benoit do not cycle to school is 0.4. Complete the equation in terms of R. Equation is 1 minus r times 1.3 minus r equals 0.4. Next, show that this equation simplifies to the stated equation. Here, we'll start with the equation stated in B1. Then, expand on the equation, scale it by 10, and rearrange it to get to the required equation. Question 3. Solve by factorization the stated equation. Through factorization, r is 1.8 or 0.5. Next, find the probability that Benoit does not cycle to school. With probability only being meaningful as a positive number, the only applicable r is 0.5. This makes the probability of Benoit not cycling to school being 1.3 minus 0.5. Question 4. The equation of a straight line is 2y equals 3x plus 4. Find the gradient of this line. By expressing the equation as a single y, the gradient is 3 over 2. Next, find the coordinates of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. This is the coordinates 0, 2. Question 4b. The diagram shows a straight line L. Find the equation of line L. Equation is y equals minus 2x plus 6. Next, find the equation of the line perpendicular to line L that passes through 9, 3. Being a perpendicular line, this line would have a gradient of half. Therefore, it would carry the equation y equals half x plus c. By inserting the known coordinates of 9, 3 into its x and y for the equation, c can be determined as minus 3 over 2. With that, the required equation is y equals half x minus 3 over 2. Question 4c. A is the point 85 and B is the point minus 41. Calculate the length of AB. In essence, AB can be identified using the Pythagoras formula. Next, find the coordinates of the midpoint of AB. By separately averaging the x and y values of the two given coordinates, we can find the midpoint of AB. Question 5. The table shows some values of the equation y. Complete the table. To get to the first y, you will equate x equals 0.2 to the equation of y. This gets us to y being equal to 2.5 minus 0.05, which is 2.45. You repeat this process for the remaining y's. Next, on the grid, draw the graph of the stated equation. The last 2 points have been plotted for you. This can be achieved by marking each of the remaining coordinates on the graph and drawing a line that joins each of these points in succession. Question 5c. Use your graph to solve the stated equation. With reference to the graph, when y is 0.5, the corresponding x is 0.75. Next, on the grid, draw the line y equals 2 minus x. This is the added line on the graph. Next, write down the x-coordinates of the points where the line of the first equation crosses that of the second. From the circle area in the graph, the required x values are 0.35 and 2.4. Next, show that the graph of the given y equation can be used to find the value of root 2. You can show this by stating that when y equals 0, the equation can be rearranged such that x is equal to root 2. Question 6b. Factorize completely the first expression. This factorization involves identifying common factors. Next, factorize completely the second expression. In this case, you would factor the first portion and the second portion independently to arrive at the answer. Next, factorize completely the third expression. This is a variation of x squared minus y squared being a product of x minus y and x plus y. Next, solve the stated equation. By doing the math, x is 5.5. Question 7. Show that each interior angle of a regular pentagon is 108 degrees. You can show this by applying the given formula. Question 7b. The diagram shows a regular pentagon ABCDE, and the vertices of the pentagon lie on the circle center O with radius 12 cm. M is the midpoint of BC. Find BM. Angle OBM is half of its internal angle. Knowing that cos 54 degrees is equal to BM over 12, we can solve for BM. Next, with OMX and ABX being straight lines, find BX. Angle MBX being a supplementary angle, we can identify it as 72 degrees. Knowing that cos 72 degrees is equal to BM over BX, we can identify BX. Next, calculate the area of the triangle AOX. Let's first identify the triangle base length AX. This is AB plus BX, which in turn is 2BM plus BX. By applying what we know, the triangle base length is equal to 36.9. As for the triangle height OM, this is equal to 12 sine 54 degrees. Therefore, the area of the required triangle AOX is half times the triangle base length times the triangle height. Question 8a. The diagram shows two triangles ABD and BCD, AD being 16.5 cm and BD 12.4 cm. Angle ADB is 64 degrees, angle BDC is 53 degrees, and angle DBC is 95 degrees. Find AB. For the question, you would apply the law of cosines to get to AB. Next, find BC. For this second part, you will apply the law of sines to get to BC. Question 8b. The diagram shows a sector of a circle of radius 3.8 cm. The arc length is 7.7 cm. Calculate the value of y. By applying the formula in calculating arc, y is 116. Next, calculate the area of the sector. By applying y being equal to 116 degrees into the formula for calculating the area of a sector, you'll arrive at the area being 14.6. Question 9. 100 students were asked how much money in $M they spent in a week. The frequency table shows the results. Calculate an estimate of the mean. This will be the sum of product taking the midpoint value of m and its corresponding frequency and dividing everything by a total of 100. Next, complete the cumulative frequency table below. The cumulative frequency is the stacking of the frequencies as we progress from one column to another. Question 9c. On the grid, draw the cumulative frequency diagram. This would be plotting the values on the table on the graph. Next, use your cumulative frequency diagram to find an estimate for the median. This would be the x value when the cumulative frequency is at 50. Next, find an estimate for the interquartile range. For the question, you will start by identifying the x values for when the cumulative frequency is at both 25 and 75 respectively. The interquartile range is the difference between these two x values. Next, find an estimate for the number of students who spent more than $25. The y value for when x is 25 is 89. The required number of students is therefore the difference between 100 and 89. Question 10a. The volume of a solid metal sphere is 24,430 centimeters cubed. Calculate the radius of the sphere. By applying the given parameters into the given formula, we can identify the value of r. Next, the metal sphere is placed in an empty tank. The tank is a cylinder with radius 50 cm standing on its circular base. Water is poured into the tank to a depth of 60 cm. Calculate the number of liters of water needed. Using the formula for the volume of a cylinder, you could essentially calculate the volume consumed by water when it's without a sphere. The required volume is therefore this volume minus that of a sphere. Next, do the appropriate conversion to get to the answer in liters. Question 10b. A different tank is a cuboid measuring 1.8 by 1.5 by 1.2 meters. Water flows from a pipe into this empty tank at the rate of 200 centimeters per second. Find the time it takes to fill the tank. Give your answer in hours and minutes. First, identify the volume of the cuboid, then divide this by its rate to get to the required time. Question 10c. The diagram shows two mathematically similar shapes with areas 295 cm squared and 159.5 cm squared. The width of the larger shape is 17 cm. Calculate the width of the smaller shape. Start by expressing the ratio for the two areas. Next, you want to re-represent the ratio to start with 1, with the second now being 1.8495. In converting a ratio from its area to its width, the ratio now becomes 1 to the square root of 1.8495, which is equivalent to 1.36. The required width is therefore 17 divided by 1.36. Question 11. The sequence of diagrams above is made up of small lines and dots. Complete the table. For its first row, the number would stack up by 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. For its second row, the number would stack up by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, for the diagram n, find an expression in terms of n for the number of small lines. The numbers of this row seems to be a pairing of a geometric progression and an arithmetic progression that is shown in red. Therefore, the formula is n plus 1 squared plus n minus 1, or when simplified, n times n plus 3. Next, diagram R has 10,300 small lines. Find the value of R. In a way, the question is saying R times R plus 3 is 10,300. And it remains hard to recognize that R is 100 here. You would apply the knowledge that the root of 10,300 being equal to 101.48, R has to be a number that's smaller than this. So you get on to try the integers from 101 downwards in decrements of 1. Next, the number of dots in diagram n is an squared plus bn plus 1. Find the value of a and b. For the question, we'll need to combine data from the table with that of the expression. Having said that, when n is 1, the expression is equal to 4, and when n is equal to 2, the expression is equal to 8. This forms the first two sets of simultaneous equations. We'll next go on to solve the simultaneous equations to get a being equal to half and b being equal to 5 over 2. We have come to the end of this walkthrough. Do be on the lookout for our other walkthroughs if this has been helpful.